Good day, dear friends, and welcome back to Royal Top Stories. Let me set the scene for you. Two little girls growing up inside castles, yet constantly dodging tabloid arrows. Princess titles on paper, but headlines that read more like reality television gone rogue. Princess Beatrice and Eugenie of York, often called the forgotten princesses, the awkward cousins, the ones from that family. And yet, if you look closely, this is not a story of decline. It is a slow, stubborn comeback. And trust me, this one deserves your full attention. Quick favor before we dive in, if you are enjoying this already, tap that subscribe button and click the notifications bell. It is free, it takes a second, and it helps Royal Top Stories keep bringing you the real stories behind the crowns. Thank you if you did. Now back to the show. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie have been inseparable for decades, from early childhood right through to becoming royal mums just months apart. Born only 21 months apart, they were more like twins than sisters, sharing schools, holidays, and the emotional whiplash of growing up York in the public eye. Their parents, Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson, divorced when the girls were still young, but both were determined their daughters would be raised by two parents, not two camps. That decision alone shaped everything. But let us be honest, this was not a neat, quiet divorce. This was front-page Britain. Toe-sucking photos, debt headlines, palace frostiness, and a mother who became a punchline before she became a case study in resilience. The girls watched it all unfold from the inside, too young to fully understand, old enough to feel every sting. Imagine learning to read while reading insults about your family. That was their childhood. Now here comes the twist. Instead of retreating, both girls absorbed something powerful from their mother, a stubborn belief in doing good, even when the world laughs. Charity was not an accessory, it was survival. Beatrice struggled with dyslexia, often mislabeled as slow or unpolished by the press. Instead of hiding it, she later turned it into advocacy, co-founding Big Change to support young people who do not fit traditional education molds. That is not weakness, that is alchemy. Eugenie faced her own battle early on, undergoing serious spinal surgery at 12 to correct scoliosis, metal rods, a long scar, and a childhood lesson in pain and gratitude. Years later, she wore a wedding dress deliberately designed to show that scar. That single design choice spoke louder than 1,000 speeches. It said, "This is me, take it or leave it." The public noticed. Respect followed. Now, pause for a moment, because here's where the narrative shifts gears. For years, Beatrice and Eugenie were criticized for everything: their weight, their clothes, their friends, their holidays, their hats, especially the hats. Who could forget the infamous pretzel hat at William and Catherine's wedding? Social media had a field day, but instead of sulking, Beatrice auctioned it for charity and raised tens of thousands of pounds. When life hands you mockery, sell it for a good cause. That's York logic at its finest. Transition with me now to adulthood, because this is where the sisters quietly rewrote their story. Neither became a full-time working royal, and frankly, that may have saved them. Beatrice built a career in business and technology. Eugenie carved out a serious role in the art world while launching the Anti-Slavery Collective, shining a light on modern slavery. These were not vanity projects. These were real jobs, real impact, and real hours put in without balcony appearances. Of course, the family shadow never disappeared. Prince Andrew's scandals reignited scrutiny, and once again, the daughters paid the reputational price. Beatrice's wedding in 2020 became a masterclass in dignity under pressure. No grand spectacle, no procession, just a quiet ceremony at Windsor during lockdown, wearing a dress and tiara loaned by her grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II. It was understated, symbolic, and frankly perfectly timed. Sometimes less really is royal. Eugenie's wedding, 2 years earlier, had been grander, but still grounded. She stood confidently between tradition and modernity, embracing both her royal heritage and her personal story. And through it all, the sisters remained each other's constant. They described themselves as a tripod with their mother, a slightly chaotic but fiercely loyal unit. Now, let's talk motherhood, because this is where the York story softens and sharpens at the same time. Eugenie welcomed her son August in early 2021, sharing glimpses with the public. Beatrice welcomed her daughter Sienna later that year and chose near total privacy. Two sisters, two approaches, same bond. Their children are growing up as cousins, just as close as their mothers once were, but with far more control over the spotlight. What we're witnessing now is not a royal reinvention through noise, but through consistency. No dramatic interviews, no tell-all books, just steady work, selective appearances, and a visible effort to earn respect rather than demand it. Their reputations, once fragile, are quietly on the rise, and in an era where the monarchy is slimming down, Beatrice and Eugenie suddenly look like assets rather than excess. Here's the irony. The two princesses once labeled tarnished may end up being among the most relatable royals of their generation. They stumbled publicly, learned painfully, and adapted intelligently. They're proof that you can be born into chaos and still choose stability. So the next time you hear their names, remember this. Behind the headlines were two girls who grew up fast, stood together, and turned survival into purpose. Not bad for the so-called spare cousins. Thank you so much for watching, and I appreciate you spending your time with Royal Top Stories.